Ooh, all right, guys. It has been a day in the crypto world. My name is Ted. I do this thing called Bodies and Wicks. Basically, it's like a video journal, a vlog, as the hip people would call it. And what I typically do is I go over, some scenarios, try to analyze the market, and that kind of stuff. People that are interested in numbers and fluctuations of prices and general stuff like that. Just the normal stuff. But I was specific. I actually did a video earlier, and a complete video earlier, and it was like 30, maybe 35 minutes or something like that. And it kind of went something like this. Yeah, yeah. I guess somehow the microphone was off. I had no idea. This time I checked. I mean, the green light of the microphone was on. Look, the green light of the microphone was actually on, but somehow the audio was off on my computer. I had no idea why. It was just really weird. Anyways, I was going to talk to you about what was happening with Ethereum earlier this week and what it's been doing. And while I was recording the video, it did it. And I started getting involved, and then I started getting involved with trades, and then, it did what I said what it was going to do again. So, but now I think it's kind of calmed down. So now I'm still in trades. I'm actually in 4 trades in altcoins right now. I'm in Zcash, Litecoin, Dash, and Ethereum. But I'll go ahead and talk about Ethereum right now. And let's get to the chart, shall we? And see what's going on. Make sure the charts that are still there are still up. So let's just go ahead and head on over to them. Alright, so this is not that. This is Bitcoin. So first what I was looking at actually is I was looking at this market cap of Bitcoin dominance. And, I saw it was getting lower and lower. So my thought process was, hey, the altcoins have got to be, doing some better and better things. And so, I started to look at some different altcoins, and one of the things I definitely analyzed and analyzed very heavily was, geez, what am I talking about now? It's been a long day, as you can tell. Not XRP. XRP has been a pretty good one as well. Looks like it's doing some stuff, but Zcash, not Zcash. It was, geez, I can't even think of which one I was even going to talk about. Ethereum. Where is Ethereum? There it is. All right. So, oh man, did it take away all my? Wait, there's got to be a different one. There we go. There's my chart of Ethereum. So, try to move this down a little bit. So the best way to try to explain what I was going to talk about earlier, anyway, was going to be in the 30-minute chart. So let's push this down so you guys can see what's going on. Alright, so first we look back here. We took back to the beginning of the week. So last week I did a video on Ethereum, and we talked about there could be a very, very large pullback. I think at the time it was like way up here. And they were saying, there could be a big pullback, that could be all the way, I don't know. I was saying that there probably wasn't going to be, and I said if there was, it would probably hit 320 at the lowest. Well, it looked like there was a major pullback, and at the lowest that it got was 313, 314. So I wasn't too far off of my prediction. So if you watched my Ethereum video last week, you got to hear me say that. So Yeah, at least some of it was right. The part that was right was how far it would go back to. It didn't get any farther back than what I said it was going to. But I was wrong that that there wouldn't be a pullback. I didn't think there'd be a pullback in Ethereum, but unfortunately, I wasn't paying too much attention to it at the time. But as I analyzed it today and this week, I noticed some things. At first you had, first you had this. You had this really weird change character candle, right? So all of a sudden you got this kind of, droppage that was happening, this pullback that was happening from Ethereum, and I think it was just because of this super huge high that it made. And I made a little note to myself that there is a on the 2-hour. There actually it's in 30-minute too. There is a sell to buy candle somewhere around here where it looks like an institution decided to or buy to sell. I mean, I don't know why it says sell candle, or yeah, buy to sell. So it looks like there's a candle, one of the last candles here. It looks like it just very flat bottomed, right? That may be the one I'm looking at. Here, let's look at the 2-hour chart so I can show you what I'm talking about. Sorry, this might be a long video, so just FYI. Let's auto this so we can figure out where we're at. There we go. So last week, this is what was happening. 2-hour chart, here it is. There's that flat bottom candle. So here is that buy candle to sell candle. So what this tells me is that there was institutions at play that decided to, put a lot of money into a buy, and that got it really high, right? That way they could get into a position, that way they could sell and dump it and make a lot of money. And I think that's where the information came in, because I think some information came in somewhere around here, that it was going to make a pullback, even a further pullback, and I didn't think it was, but now I look a little bit closer, I can definitely see that there were some institutions at play. There are institutions that sell crypto, and just kind of like banks do with Forex, so they pushed up that buy to sell so that way they can make a ton of money on the way down. So and that's what they did, and it got really far down, down to the point of 314, 313, something like that. No, it was 310. So sorry, my allergies are kicking in, so bear with me. But on the 2-hour on the 2-hour, this just looks like a wick, right? So it just looks like a wick, but once you get to the 1 hour, it's not a wick. Let me go back. It's actually 2 candles. It's actually the same kind of scenario, right? It's it's almost like all of a sudden abruptly stopped, right, and just turned around and bought. Not much of a wick there, right? If we go to the 30-minute, does the same exact thing. Let's go back to it. I don't know why it just doesn't keep me where I'm at. But of course it's just kind of broken up. But same thing, you have that all of a sudden that change of character to where it just stops, turns to the buy, and then continues on. So that to me was a little suspicious. I'm still not 100% sure what that means, or why. That I looked backwards and that there's a little bit of a resistance point, but it wouldn't be a huge resistance point that would make something abruptly stop. And then buy, right? So the only thing I can think is that maybe the institutions bought a little bit more, and as they were getting as they knew they were going to sell, going through those, they probably bought, maybe they bought enough to make enough, they let go right here, and that's when they decided to sell again. So they decided to make more money, on the way down. Maybe that's what that kind of change of character was. But that to me was just strikingly interesting, to where it just wasn't a little float on the way down. It wasn't like a pullback or anything like that. Um, I mean, this was just kind of like sideways movement, made a little dip back and continued on, but it wasn't like a complete, almost like V shape like area. So, anyways, I just found that interesting. So now, as we move along throughout the week, you can definitely see there's a lot of accumulation going on. And that's where I boxed this in. It just kind of made a high. Went down to a low, and then kept floating on. Still, bouncing around this low area, came up to the high. So at this point, I thought, okay, so now that we have a couple different high points, right? And I had this over here as well. So this is what we call points of liquidity. So what that means is that a lot of people have their stop losses or sell limits up here, sell limits or buy stops. Most of the time, sell limits. So that means as soon as they think it's going to get to that area, they'll go ahead and put a sell limit on it. That way, they turns around, goes the other way, they make money. Same thing here. They probably put the sell limit on here, turn it around, they made money. They think in third time's the charm. Well, this is where the change of character happened again. So right here is where you have the distribution. So instead of actually going and actually selling where it should have, where most people would have had their buy stop, instead you have this very, very large buy candle, right? So you have this buy candle. What it did is it took out the liquidity that everybody had sitting here. So everybody probably had a sell limit probably somewhere sitting around 355. Probably nobody likes to lose any more than 365, something like that. And 365 is right here. So that's probably what happened. So we took out, not only did they open up the sell stops or whatever thing, or the sell limits, they also took out anybody with a stop loss. So this was people that were making money. Basically, they took the money from your hands, whoever had the sell limits, and they put it into theirs. Now, when that happened, it created a new zone. It didn't drop down or anything like that. There wasn't any selling pressure to push it back down. So it created a new liquidity zone. And this is, I think, what was actually happening. No, this is before the video that I was making. This just must have got moved for some reason, because I know this is moved over a little bit further. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it looked like more like this. So the same thing happens, right? You have a new accumulation zone. Of course, you create a high. All right, so you create one area of liquidity in case people come. It comes back up to that high, right? Now, here's what I found interesting: is that we had two equal lows, and then we had this one that just kind of darted down, right? Darted down both of those equal lows, and then came back up. And when I took a closer look at it, there's a little bit of mitigation happening. So what do I mean by mitigation? Here, I'm going to take this, and we're just going to go ahead and get rid of it since we know what it is. That is the area to where the candle started buying really quickly. If I can get a hold of it. All right, so what does mitigation mean? In smart money terms, it means that it looks like right here at this sell candle, right, the institutions are probably holding on to a sell. So they sold really quickly, right, to get just a little bit better of a position to buy, right? Because whatever sell that they had, right, probably the buy that they were going to take right here was probably going to be 10. Hello, Joe Biden came out and me 20 times as much as what the sell is going to be, evidently, because it became so much higher. So they threw in a little sell limit, right? Or they threw in a little sell, turn around and bought. Because if you can see, this is definitely a flat candle here. So, but then you do have a wick. This wick is probably retailers. Retailers are saying, okay, they sold here, so we're gonna try to sell as well. The institutional trader said, nope. We already made our sell. We made our sell because we're gonna buy. So they bought, right? So now they're still holding this sell, right? They don't, because they have a whole lot of money. They can go into this drawback, right? They can hold this drawback for a while, but they don't want to hold it forever. So eventually, what happens is once it gets down to this area, they need to get rid of that position. So what do? They sell it. They sell really quickly, and they sell all the way down to that same position, so they can get rid of the position that they were holding. That way, they're not losing any more money, right? They buy, they probably sell again to get rid of that position that they were holding. Now they don't have any more positions that they're holding, and they go on, right? So now I don't think they're holding any more positions because they've sold that one, right? Well, actually, it was probably somewhere up in here. So once they got up to, because as you can see, this was definitely the last buy position. As soon as they hit sell here, it definitely probably went past this buy position or this sell position, so they couldn't get rid of it in time. So that's why they had to do it here. And while they were here, they took their time and they got rid of all the positions, or sell positions anyway. That way they didn't have to worry about coming back down and trying to get rid of a position. So at the same time, they put themselves in a good position to go up, right? So came up, you're still in this accumulation zone, right, for a while. At the same time, I was also in here, and I was doing some scalping, that's for sure. And then you have the same kind of schematic, right? Then all of a sudden, boom, you have the jump up, you have the distribution candle right here. So let me pull this back, pull this over, right? Now you have this distribution candle. So it didn't come all the way toward the top, but it wasn't a distribution area, and it was an area that I guess you probably didn't expect it to come from, right? So it just all of a sudden popped up and went to the distribution area, and went from here to now. It's just it took everybody's money that probably had some kind of probably a limit set right here, just because it was also floating around this same area. So this area right here, right, everybody probably had some kind of sell limit, and it was getting close to that sell limit area, and then all of a sudden, boom, it took off. So anybody at the sell limit with a stop loss probably just above it took all of those people out, right, and just took all their money. And then now we're just going ahead and started a new one. So now we are in a new distribution phase, or a new accumulation phase, I guess you could say. We have already made this one I didn't catch the very beginning of it, but I did catch the second part of this buy, just because as soon as I saw it buying, I knew what it was doing, and I went ahead and threw in for a buy. And I waited for a little bit, and I waited till it got to the top of this one, I think, before I went ahead and let go of that trade. So now what are we at now? So now we're in another accumulation phase, right? And before I drew this, it was just these two boxes. So and this is at the 30-minute. Once we get down to the nitty-gritty of it in the 5-minute here, this is where it becomes fun and interesting. So this is actually when I was shooting the video, and I stopped and I was like, whoa, wait, something's going on here. So I saw that it came down here. Now, my first thought was it could probably do the same thing as it did last time, right? There's probably a candle that it's still holding on to that it needs to come down to first, before it's going to, go up and, it needs to mitigate. Basically, that the institutions are still holding a position. Now, in the 30-minute candle, I could find one. You really couldn't find another one until you get into the 5 minutes, right? The 5-minute candle, I did find one, right? And that was this one right here. So, and I forgot who it was. I was on a phone Zoom call earlier, and they were telling me, how many orders it takes, for it to just make one pip. I forgot. Like then it's like, it's like 1,000, $10,000 orders or something like that, or 100,000, $10,000 orders. It's a lot of money basically for the market to even move. So people like you and me that are throwing in lot sizes of one lot, or people that are maybe even throwing in .01. I throw in a lot of .01s sometimes just to see if if I'm trying a new strategy, see if it's going to work. But us that throw in the little amount of money, we're not moving the market. It's these big institutions. So I found this and I thought, what, maybe it's going to dip back down to here, before it's actually going to move on, right? So then this started happening. I saw this. I said, okay, we have one liquidity point since we have a high. It came down, and then boom, I saw that. I thought we saw another liquidity point, and then I saw it came back down and get close to. I had some alarms set in case it was going to come back down to this area, because I thought we'd play around in this area first for a while before we came down. So I had the alarm set to either think we're either going to go down or go back up. And I decided to go in for the buy, right? I decided to go in for the buy only because it didn't. It got close, but it didn't get as close as I wanted it to. To be around the bottom of this accumulation area. So I thought I was going to buy. So I jumped into a buy, and I played around, of course, for a little bit. And then as I was looking left, I saw this right here, and I thought, what, this might be a Head and Shoulders. So my dumbass went ahead and put a target on it, and I put the target for for it to be the Head and Shoulders, and as it was above, because with all of my cryptos right now, the spreads are so ridiculous. It's kind of it's really hard to get into profit. It takes a long time to get into profit. But this got into profit, and it played into profit for a little bit. And I sat there and I thought about it, and I said, this thing's probably going to shoot up just like it did last time. And I checked all mine, and none of mine had any kind of take profit. I don't have stop losses on any of them. And then it shot up. And then I turned around and looked at my phone, and my Ethereum was gone. And that was the one I actually forgot to take profit off of. So unfortunately, I did make a profit off this one, but I could have had a lot better profit. That's for sure. So, so it did the same thing, right? So now we're still in this accumulation zone, but now we just have a new target. So now we have not one, not two, but we have a third liquidity area, right? So now this is going to keep people guessing as to where the new resistance is going to be, or the new support is going to be. But either way, we're going to have the same kind of schematic happen, and probably sometime soon. It may happen overnight, who knows? But we are going to have something happen. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this since it's already happened. to where it's just going to either accumulate. It could come back down. I really don't know. But to be honest, just finding these on a 5 minute chart, this could be just a lot of a lot of retailers, right? A lot of people, thinking, okay, this is a huge jump up, for Ethereum. I'm gonna go ahead and push it back down. But of course, it's the people with the money that are, actually gonna push it up. So, and the funny thing is they actually let them. They let them push it down a little bit, right? So they can make a little bit more money. So they let them push it down. They said, hey, why not? Let's just push it up. They let them push it down. Hey, why not? So they pushed it up. And, yeah, they'll push it down a little bit. Hey, why not get a better position? And then they pushed it. They were just like, all right, we're done with this crap. So pushed it up. Now we're in a completely new zone. So now we're right around in here. So now, what's going to happen now? Well, what I just told you is that there is liquidity above these areas, right? Well, first of all, the first liquidity has already been taken out. This one, whoever had a sell, this one actually may have worked. Whoever had a sell position on this. May have actually worked as long as they had their stop loss set pretty high. It started off around 388. All they would have had to have was a stop loss of 390. Not too bad for Ethereum, to be honest. That's really not that big of a stop loss. It's only 20 pips. Most people have about 30. So whoever is in this sell should probably get out of it if you are in it. Just because I don't think it's going to sell anymore. It's seeing all of this liquidity above it, and it's wanting to take it out. I could be completely wrong though. It could be this way too. You could be, and especially since the way that it's going, it's looking like it's going up and it's going up and it's going up. It could all of a sudden just bust down, right? And but that would be good for the bears. That would be good for the people that had these sell limits here, and people that are selling here. And I think a lot of people think that it is going to sell just because of how high it is. But I think we're eventually going to reach 400. Probably, I was going to say by today, but that was about 5 hours ago whenever I made the last video. But we're not too far off. Here is the, that's the 4 hour 200 MA, and 400 is just right here. So it could not take too long for us, probably sometime tomorrow to reach back up to 400 again. But as of right now, we're just playing a cat and mouse game of, and this is really going nowhere. This is not getting anybody any, what's what I'm looking for, scalps. This is not scalping at all. This is just people trying to guess which direction it's going to go, and which is a good question. Which direction is it going to go? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? My personal opinion, it's already been up, and it's going to keep going up. Now, I guess I'll go ahead and go over some other coins too. I've actually found this thing, and if you have it, it might be helpful for you. It is called a CryptoMoku. What CryptoMoku does is, on any time frame, basically it's like a cloud for crypto. So it'll give you an area, and once you are in an area of this CryptoMoku, it is a good idea to buy. So as you can see, it definitely worked well here. Let me see if there's some areas that it didn't work well in. Kind of worked here. It did sell. This area, it definitely didn't work in at all. This it did for a scalp, that's for sure. And here's what I don't understand: the overlapping. There are times when they overlap for both a sell and a buy. So I guess it's just your choice. You got a 50-50 chance. But I know where it says is the red is the baseline and the blue is the turn line, I believe. Let me look at the settings of this. Not the MA. I know what the MA is. All right. Red is the base. Blue is the conversion, I guess. Okay. So I guess that means is that if you are going to a conversion line going through here, I guess that means if you're going to buy, you're going to convert to sell, right? And you're going to, once you sell, once it gets to the green, you're going to convert it back to buy. That would be my guess as to what this conversion line means. I really don't know what it means. Is that it? Well, if there's nothing there, let me see if I can find something else. But yeah, to me this was actually helpful. I used it. Let me see here. I used it on Dash, and I got a pretty good chunk of change on Dash. Not this Dash. This Dash. I use the red. I put these in red is because these are the Coinbase ones. They're actually the best at actually looking at the actual market and how it's working versus if you look at Kraken or something like that, because Kraken just has like all the little, it has all the gaps and stuff like that. Coinbase is like the only one in TradingView that doesn't have all the gaps, but they both pretty much have the same idea. The price is a little bit off on Coinbase. I want to say it's a little bit higher. Let me see. Litecoin on Coinbase versus Litecoin on Kraken. No, it's about the same. Dash 7884 Dash on Kraken 70. Yeah, it's kind of the same. Let's see if it's the same on mine. Let me just look at Dash really quick. Dash for me is at 7870. Yep. All right, they're all kind of close enough. But what I did is it's kind of funny. I actually waited until it broke this. Well, it was in the green cloud, and I didn't buy anything in the green cloud just yet. Well, I did buy here. I bought here just because it was on the trend line, and once I got up to here. To the red, I sold, so I got a little scalp on that. But once it got down to here, I actually did buy, and waited till it got until the very end of the cloud here, just before this big drop. So that was a pretty good one. Plus, by the time I bought it, though, of course, I forget how many pips the spread is here on Dash. Let me look at it. Right now, it is 79 and 78.64. So the spread is about 32 or 32. 3.5 pips, something like that. Somewhere in 3 pips. So I bought close to the bottom. It wasn't exactly the bottom. So it probably would have been around somewhere around here, right? So if I just draw a line, I think it was somewhere around here to where, and one of the reasons I actually knew about this thing is because I have alarm set on my RSIs. Right, on my 70 and on my 30 to let me know when things are being oversold and let me know when things are being, overbought. So as soon as it hit that, it let me know it was being oversold, and I looked at it and I saw that it was below that cloud, and I was like, oh, it's a buy cloud. So if you buy, you'll buy into the buy cloud. So I bought it into the buy cloud, and I got up to over there. It wasn't a huge amount of pips, but it was enough you know, is a, I guess you could say that would be, was it 100 pips? I didn't think it was 100 pips, but it might have been. Let me try that again. Somewhere from here all the way to this here. Yeah, 98.5. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, okay, that's about right. So, I think it was actually somewhere around 80 for me. Maybe I don't have this plotted out exactly right, but yeah. So that worked out quite well. So thank you to the Ikimochu candle or whatever this thing is, cloud, or Cryptomochu cloud. And the thing was is that it had been selling all day. So one of the things I was talking about earlier, and for some reason it is not in here. I think it's because it was in the crypto info. No. Anyways, I know it's BTC.D. So basically what this is, this is the dominance of Bitcoin and the market cap. So the less of the dominance, the more the altcoins have at play, right? Where's the volume? I need to turn the volume off. There we go. And on the 4 hour we had a double bottom. So when I saw the 4 hour we had a double bottom, I was like, well, that means that less people are getting in crypto, more people are getting in altcoins, so I should be buying altcoins. So pretty much that was my strategy. I had quite a few scalps on Ethereum. I had that one on Dash. Let's see here. Litecoin. Litecoin was an interesting one because it just kind of this was in the morning or right in the afternoon. I want to say that this one actually really pissed me off because I was just thinking about getting into Dash I was like, it's a little bit higher, and I saw this and I wanted to wait for a little bit more of a dip before I got into it, and it didn't dip, it just went straight up. So I was pissed about that one, but I did wait for Litecoin to get down about as far as it could. And again, I had my alarm set. It didn't hit my alarm, but it hit my alarm that it went to the top. I didn't sell just because crypto has a tendency, even though it's at the top, it can go sideways. And so if I sell and it goes sideways, I don't get any money, right? Because I'm already in my 3 or 4, whatever, 5 pip loss that it already is in. And sometimes it's almost impossible to get out of that, especially if it goes sideways or it was going to go up. So I don't like selling at the top. I probably should have. But what I did do is I watched very closely, and my other notification that I do have is I'm going to have to pause it because somebody is knocking at my door that I did not invite. So it's going to be 1 second.